It's kind of hard to believe how many nice people show up now, so thanks a bunch, guys. But all I can do is say I really appreciate it, and I think you guys are super nice, and I'm extremely lucky that you guys show up to be nice to me every day.
For over 11 years, Sykkuno sold himself to the internet as the one streamer without any drama. He had millions of viewers, a $5 million YouTube deal, and a fan base so devoted that criticizing him could get you dogpiled. The centerpiece of his nice guy image was one claim he repeated for years. He didn't have a girlfriend.
Who's your girlfriend? Well guys, little did you know, I've already revealed my girlfriend. She's right here. Yup, as you can see, there's nothing there because I don't have one.
Then, boom, a 33-page Google document showed up with his name on it. It turned out the shy guy had a live-in girlfriend the entire time. He wasn't only hiding a girlfriend, but he was also repeatedly cheating on her with several women at the same time, and one of them recorded him admitting it.
Why? Why didn't you just break off the relationship then?
Because a combination of remembering how it was, some part of me hoping it would go back to that, and...
Well, obviously it's not going to go back to that if you're actively cheating on her.
Things only got worse from here. At first it looked like a fairly standard cheating scandal. It was embarrassing, but survivable. Then the word predator got attached to it and the whole thing detonated.
This illusion. There was a master manipulator, a serial cheater, and a predator.
Once that label entered the chat, people stopped talking about cheating and started calling for his head. Dude, Sykkuno is a 34-year-old UNC pranking 18-year-old girls that are new to the content creator and streaming scene. Then it got worse in a way that spelled the end of an era, Sykkuno's era. As people dug deeper, receipts were pulled, showing this wasn't his first rodeo. He had one template he repeated over and over again with multiple women over several years. And to top it off, the woman who exposed the cheating scandal was caught on record, literally begging him another chance. Yikes.
What is why I'm still upset with you, but you didn't cheat on me. You can still talk to me and be, like, make up for your actions. Don't get me wrong, because I always am there for second chances.
Within weeks, the internet's most wholesome streamer became one of its most problematic. And the question on everyone's minds was, how did someone spend 11 years building one of the cleanest reputations on the internet while living an entirely different life offline? This is how it went down. The 10th of April 2026 started off like any other Friday for fans of Sykkuno. However, that same night, his name was trending worldwide for all the wrong reasons. A VTuber named HemamalVT, most people just call her Mal, posted a Google document that afternoon with a title that left absolutely nothing up for interpretation. Exposing Sykkuno, a serial cheater, master manipulator, and dangerous predator. The doc ran 33 pages long, built from Discord logs, payment records, and one leaked voice call where he admitted to having a girlfriend and openly cheating on her. The doc opened with Mal claiming Sykkuno followed her on Valentine's Day. She messaged him, elated that someone as big as him recognized her. He responded exactly in character, flustered and self-deprecating, the same tone his fans knew from every single stream. From there, things escalated fast, and not in a way anyone could call subtle. Flirting turned into planning a real-life meetup within days of that first message. By page 8 of the doc, he was already arranging a trip to TwitchCon Europe, specifically to see her in person. In this 2-hour Discord gaming call, the same day as our first conversation, Sykkuno made plans to meet me, IRL. It was set to be the same weekend as Dokomi 2026, since he was flying over anyway to attend TwitchCon EU. Going to the aquarium would be our first date. I also learned that there is a 15-year age gap between us. To be crystal clear here, she was a legal adult the entire time, somewhere around 19 or 20. She also clarified that predator wasn't meant as a claim of sexual criminality. But the age gap wasn't actually the issue that mattered most. The real issue was that he told her he'd only ever had one relationship in his entire life, and they had broken up. I don't know, LOL, I've only actually dated someone once and they broke up with me, so yeah, I think I'm just not very good, so it's probably just a me issue. Sykkuno's entire version of events hinged on that one lie. The moment it unraveled, everything else began falling apart. Apparently he had been dating Madi, a popular artist who helped him design his merch since 2021. He'd also been living with Madi since 2024, and Mal had absolutely no idea any of that existed. The doc walked through how consistent that exact lie stayed across years and across multiple different women. According to the screenshots Mal compiled herself, he reportedly used nearly identical phrasing with each of them. He described himself as inexperienced, shy, and unlucky with women over and over again. Among all the messages in the document, one specific message became the single most quoted line from the entire document almost instantly. In it, Mal had sent an explicit video, and Syk proceeded to apologize for what he called his low XP bar, a gaming reference to romantic romantic inexperience. My XP bar is low, but no, I do it. I've never gotten something like this before. Yes, I like it. It's so good. I can't wait to use it later. Meanwhile, during this same time, a second creator, Elphalea, was living an almost identical story as Mal. Sykkuno reportedly sent her roughly 1,450 euros between November 2025 and January 2026, covering a move and a flight to see him. That flight included a stop in Paris, timed conveniently around a teamfight tactics event he was already attending. I can understand that I'd probably be too. I only know 2 people, and the I've never met before. Ah, what? That's scary. LOL. Well, I might, but you should come to Paris when I go. Is it close? Between Mal and Elphalea, the cheating ran for close to 5 years total. According to the doc, his travel seemed to line up perfectly with chances to see one of them, separately, every single time. The doc also referenced a much wider pattern spanning several years, naming other smaller creators he'd allegedly contacted the same way. Some of those conversations reportedly stayed casual. Others escalated into full meetup plans, just like Mal's and Elphalea's had. Mal closed her document with one final message aimed at every woman she believed he'd done this to. I implore the many other victims to come out about their experiences with this predator, and I end this document with a recording of Sykkuno, in which he admits to everything, especially with how he cheated on his girlfriend with my friend, and was intending to do that with me as well. And so, the floodgate was opened. And what became public was worse than anything originally in the document. What came next was the biggest, most explosive part of the whole expose. It was a leaked recording. This happened after Mal found out about his girlfriend, and it's an uncomfortable listen from start to finish.
I was in a very happy relationship.
Doesn't sound like it, but sure.
Oh, let me finish.
Continue.
I was in a very happy relationship a long time ago.
Long time ago. What, like
And then-
2021?
I don't know the exact time, honestly, but a long time ago. Then it got a lot less happy.
How so?
I don't fully know. She just stopped hanging out with me that much, and
Stop hanging out with you. She lives with you.
Sykkuno admitted to being in a relationship, but claimed the relationship had gone sour and that they'd stopped hanging out. He also admitted that they lived together. In the same call, he acknowledged that he had been intimate with Elphalea while leading Mal on and having a girlfriend behind all of this. When she pushed back hard on his excuse for not breaking off the relationship, he didn't have a direct answer ready at all.
you'll want it at all.
So you slept with Elfie in Paris.
Yeah.
And then you flirted with me. And were telling me how you wanted me to come visit you in Vegas, and how you wanted to go on a date, and how you were serious about me. And how you really meant it, and how you wanted to go get a cat together.
Yes.
Yeah. Why? Why didn't you just break off the relationship then?
Because a combination of remembering how it was, some part of me hoping it would go back to that, and
Well, obviously it's not going to go back to that if you're actively cheating on her.
Now, here's the twist almost nobody expected to hear from that recording though, and it flipped a huge chunk of public opinion overnight. Towards the end of the call, after claiming she was upset with him, Mal started negotiating for a second chance instead.
What is why I'm still upset with you, but you didn't cheat on me. You can still talk to me and be, like, make up for your actions. Don't get me wrong, because I always am there for second chances.
This was someone who knew she was talking to a serial cheater, yet she was angling to remain in his life. Underneath all of it sat one final detail, and it's the one that made this land harder than a normal cheating scandal. His girlfriend found out from the worst place imaginable, and it wasn't the horse's mouth. Months earlier, a VTuber named Bao posted an unrelated warning about big streamers showering smaller creators with sudden attention. If you're an up-and-coming female content creator with a small but growing audience, and a much larger and successful male content creator approaches you out of nowhere and showers you with attention on stream, in DMS, etc., don't walk, run. Bao, unknown to Sykkuno's girlfriend at the time, already knew about several similar Sykkuno stories from smaller VTubers privately. Sykkuno's girlfriend saw that tweet and recognized the pattern almost immediately. She reached out to Bao over Discord, asking directly if the post had been about him. Hey Bao, I'm sorry to bother you with this, but I heard something recently that was a bit concerning, and I thought I would just come ask you about it. I heard that there was possibly an instance of Sykkuno trying to get tuber girls up to his hotel room to drink with them, and that the tweet you made about being cautious of large male streamers showering you with gifts/attention was about him in regards to him doing it to one of your friends. Bao reportedly told her it was all a misunderstanding, and that excuse actually held up for a while. It held up right until Mao got added to the same group chat and confirmed everything herself. Sykkuno's girlfriend's response, once she had the full picture, felt absolutely devastating. She'd lived with him for over 2 years, and they had been together even longer. Still, she had no idea who he was. We have been together since 2021. Every future he'd planned with Mal, she pointed out flatly, he'd planned with her first. The two of them had discussed the same trips, the same shared pet, the same long-term future. well before Mal ever entered the picture. In her words, "Everything he's planning with you are things we have planned together and talk about and have done. I'm sorry." But ugly as all of this was, it wasn't the worst part. And this time, Sykkuno's reputation didn't survive. Following the release of the documents, Sykkuno's carefully cultivated image began to unravel at an alarming pace. And before long, the allegations had spread far beyond the people directly involved, drawing in commentary channels and creators across the internet. A commentary channel run by Muujin had a video ready to post within hours of the doc going live. Muujin built his entire channel around VTuber drama specifically, and he had access to Mal's doc before it even went public. His video, which was later deleted, went live that same afternoon, timed perfectly alongside the doc's release. Within 6 days, the video hit roughly 2 million views. It was obvious that this was a story the internet wanted immediately, and Muujin delivered it faster than anyone else covering it. However, Muujin's covering of the event led to a whole new controversy on its own. You see, the problem here wasn't that Muujin reported the document. Commentary channels exist to report on stories like this. The real problem was how he had framed it. Throughout the video, he repeatedly described Sykkuno as a predator.
In reality, behind this mirage, this illusion, there was a master manipulator, a serial cheater, and a predator.
He argued that the size gap between Sykkuno's audience and the smaller creators he allegedly pursued created a power imbalance that deserved the label.
That there is a 15-year age gap between us. Right, so look, I personally spoke to the victim about this. I asked, like, would that usually have been like a red flag or a turnoff? She said yes. But the thing is, this is Sykkuno we're talking about here, right?
The wording immediately became the bone of contention. Even people who believed Mal's document was a cause for serious concern questioned whether predator was the right description. They argued that the allegations already painted Sykkuno in an overwhelmingly negative light, without attaching a term that many people associated with criminal sexual behavior or rooming. Within days, creators with no connection to either Sykkuno or Mal began publishing breakdowns of their own, and a surprising consensus started to emerge. Many agreed the alleged deception, overlapping relationships, and manipulation were disturbing enough on their own, but where they disagreed was on whether those actions made him a predator.
You can't say this guy's a predator, okay? And also, he cheated. And the main thing by being a predator is that he cheated. Well, no, how about we attack one topic at a time, right? If you make the claim predator, let's focus on that, and I'll address the cheating later. I don't give a shit. At that point, it's more of a whether you're personally hurt by somebody else cheating or not, but that's completely standalone.
However, it didn't take long before countless posts began discussing the situation as though he had been accused of pursuing minors. None of the women referenced by Mal alleged that they had been minors during any romantic or sexual interactions with Sykkuno. By that stage, correcting the record had become almost impossible. People who had encountered Sykkuno began speaking up, implying they believed he was a predator. A VTuber named Iceland Winter revealed she had first met Sykkuno through a shared online friend group when she was 17 and he was 28. Sykkuno became my friend when I was 17 and he was 28. Nothing inappropriate happened at that time, but that history shaped the trust I had in him later. Of course, this timeline immediately caught people's attention, but just as importantly, she emphasized that nothing romantic or happened while she was underage. According to her own account, any advances she described took place years later, after she was already in her 20s. But her explanation wasn't well received by the masses, especially given the earlier implication from her original statement. To some viewers, simply meeting someone while they were underage was enough to reinforce the rumors. Actually disheartening to see all these comments downplaying. Is it normal to be friends with people younger? Yes. Is it normal for a famous streamer to initiate contact with multiple underage girls which eventually turns sexual? No. Others argued differently. Why are you trying so hard to picture Sykkuno as a predator? Nothing happened, dog, what the fuck? He's a cheater and a shit person, but going as far as to label him that will put you on grounds to get sued. Another VTuber, Dottie, posted that she had met him on a bus, and he had asked if she knew what a happy ending was. I met Sykkuno at my first TwitchCon in 2022. He was on a party bus, asked me if I knew what a happy ending was, and then asked for my number. I gave him the number to Domino's instead. I was so drunk that whole trip too. I forgot all about it, but I still remember his face. Ew. And while more women were coming forward and the conversation was becoming increasingly polarized, another problem was developing in the background. A fake Instagram story presented as though Sykkuno had confessed to everything spread rapidly across the internet. I didn't do anything wrong. I was unhappy, so I did what anyone in my position would do. Sorry, not sorry. You see, the lines between legitimate evidence and internet rumor began to get really blurry. People didn't know the difference between real and fake anymore. Meanwhile, Muujin's own credibility was beginning to face harsh scrutiny, given his stand. He was already facing criticism for his use of the word. But it got worse when one of the women named in Mal's document, a VTuber named Powder, publicly dragged him for the way he framed the allegations.
You guys may have seen over the weekend, I caused the great Muujin to crash out over just calling him an unreliable narrator. But we're gonna watch this video that Tectone made. Thank you, Tectone, for covering this story. It's going to be quite hilarious. Was posted 10 hours ago. Sweet. Muujin just lost all his credibility. I think he lost a lot of credibility. I don't know about all, but...
She made it clear that she wasn't defending Sykkuno's behavior, but she also said she'd never personally felt manipulated or preyed upon by him. In her view, his approach came across as unusually forward and emotionally messy rather than predatory. She added that if he'd contacted her so casually, it was entirely possible he'd approached many other women the same way.
He's saying like, oh, but I've never played this with you before, or something like that. And he's talking about having 2 houses. He's a pretty well-off guy. It signaled to me that I was like, all right, this guy is, you know, he talks to a lot of people. I'm pretty sure I even called him out on it in the DMs. I'd have to go back because he was trying to tell me that he's like a very introverted person. And then I was like, I don't know, man. It kind of seems like you talk to a lot of people, because he was in these collabs and he has a lot of friends. So like, you can't tell me that you're like an introvert when you're just so easily like going into my DMs, sending an emote, and then asking to play games all the fucking time. You know, when we were playing the game though, I just got that feeling that, okay, this guy is like a player, like he has said these things to multiple women before, like...
Around the same time, streamer XQC posed a question directly to Muujin in the comments of his video. If he can only date people that are as or more famous than he is, then who could he have dated during his peak era? There were 0 creators that qualify for that. Please clarify. He wanted to know if the standard being applied was that a creator shouldn't pursue anyone with a significantly smaller audience. If so, then who exactly was someone as large as Sykkuno supposed to date? Muujin responded that Sykkuno already had an answer to that question. His girlfriend. He could have simply dated his girlfriend that he lived with and not lied to her for over 5 years while playing dating simulator with every female content creator in existence. But sure, man, let's instead farm clips calling cheating based real classy. It was a point that many viewers considered fair, but the conversation had reached a stage where Sykkuno's actions weren't the main issue anymore. While all of this was going on behind the scenes, more and more women were still admitting to having romantic encounters with Sykkuno. Streamer Leia described meeting Sykkuno during a trip to a Las Vegas gaming event where the two shared a hotel room. Speaking on stream, she initially recounted what she described as a sexual encounter, prompting another wave of speculation online.
So, yeah, I shared a room with Sykkuno at Evo Las Vegas, and he pretty much tried to make a move on me, and I was fully trying to say like I'm just here to watch the movie. Like I'm just here to watch the movie.
Within days, however, she clarified that no assault had taken place, walking back many of the assumptions viewers had drawn from her original story. Then, the internet discovered someone who'd been telling a remarkably similar story years before any of this became public. In October 2020, an ex-girlfriend known online as Lana revealed that she had dated Sykkuno from 2015 to 2019. When she initially told her story, almost no one paid attention. But after Mal's document exploded across the internet, Lana's old posts resurfaced, and many people were struck by how closely they echoed the newer allegations. According to Lana, Sykkuno had told other women, particularly female fans, that he was single while they were still together, despite maintaining a long-term relationship behind the scenes. Lana also remarked that despite dating him for 4 years, he had never once bought her flowers. Then, on April 16th, everything changed, because after days of silence, Sykkuno finally spoke up, and he wasn't the only one. 6 days after the saga began, Sykkuno and his girlfriend posted a joint statement together, ending days of total silence. A message from me and my girlfriend. In summary, he admitted to lying about being single repeatedly over the course of years. He also admitted to being unfaithful more than once across multiple relationships during that same time. I would like to apologize to everyone I have disappointed, most of all to my girlfriend. I'm so sorry I put you through so much. I never want to make these mistakes again and hurt you and the people I care about. I was unfaithful and I own and fully admit to that. Then he pushed back on one of the most damaging labels attached to his name. While he didn't fully accept being described as a predator, he said some of the allegations against him had been exaggerated. Before ending his statement, he thanked the friends who had stood by him throughout the controversy. His girlfriend's section came right after his, and it completely reframed the preceding 2 weeks. She claimed the people claiming to protect her didn't check in with her before revealing the scandal. In her own terms, she felt used for profit. I understand that those involved with him have been hurt as well, but I don't believe my feelings were considered in this situation at all. Having my worst fears become my reality, then put on full display and used for profit for everyone to see, is absolutely mortifying. It truly feels like a nightmare. It was already hard enough trying to work through things in private. This has just added another layer of difficulty and stress on top of everything. It's made it so much harder for me to cope. Within hours of the statement going live, the internet's judgment of the situation shifted. Sympathy that had been split roughly down the middle, started tilting hard toward the girlfriend specifically, rather than either accuser. Mujin, watching the ground shift beneath him, felt the pressure fastest out of anyone involved. Within days, he pulled his original video down and posted a rare, fairly direct retraction. He acknowledged the video had been rushed without enough independent checking done beforehand. He admitted it leaned almost entirely on one accuser's framing, right from the start. As people debated whether that changed anything, a separate, unrelated trend briefly took over conversation. The voice actor for Deku, a character from the well-known anime My Hero Academia, dropped an impression of the Sykkuno apology letter. Sykkuno's voice has always been compared to Detu's. Owing to this, the impression went viral within a matter of days.
I would like to apologize to everyone I have disappointed. Most of all, to my girlfriend. I am so sorry I put you through so much. I never want to make these mistakes again and hurt you and the people I care about. I was unfaithful, and I own and fully admit that. I lied to people and told them I was single.
This went on to become one of the scandal's most memorable side moments. Apparently, the internet had already stopped taking all things Sykkuno seriously. And to understand why, we need to rewind to the beginning. Because the story isn't just about how Sykkuno fell. It's about how he convinced millions he was perfect in the first place.
What is up, guys? It's Sykkuno here.
Sykkuno spent more than a decade building the exact image that one document eventually destroyed. Before the allegations, and before his carefully crafted image began to unravel, Sykkuno was a pretty decent guy, or so it seemed. For those who don't know, Sykkuno, real name Thomas, was born on June 4th, 1991 in Southern California, and grew up as the middle child between two sisters. He earned both a mathematics degree and a master's degree in statistics before spending several years working as a software engineer. According to multiple reports, his work even contributed to the development of Samsung's Galaxy S7 and S8 smartphones. On paper, it was an impressive resume, but none of it would become the reason millions of people came to know his name on online space. That story started much earlier, with a small YouTube channel called Sykkuno, which he launched back in 2011. The videos were simple. He did League of Legends commentary with no face cam and a voice that sounds almost unrecognizable compared to the Sykkuno people know and love today. Of course, success didn't come easily. For most of the 2000s and 10s, he was just one creator among thousands, uploading to an audience that barely existed. He rebranded to the Sykkuno channel in 2012, then kept grinding League, Call of Duty, and Minecraft content through the mid-2000s and 10s. Almost nobody watched, and that stayed painfully true for years on end. Everything changed for him in 2013 when he met Lily Pichu, a streamer with over 3 million subscribers on YouTube, at a League event. And Lily suggested he give streaming a chance, but according to Sykkuno, loneliness was the driving force behind his decision. He did his first face reveal on Lily Pichu's stream, not long after that meetup happened, and what he said in that clip became one of his cringiest moments, but also somehow won him fans.
Well, you're actually so much braver than I thought.
Only because you're here.
Through Lily's circle, he built visibility alongside Valkyrie, a fellow streamer with a massive cross-platform following of around 9.6 million followers, and the rest of what was known as offline TV's orbit.
What do you guys think of me, though? It's only been like a couple of days.
You guys want to tell him?
You seem
Wait, what?
You seem like you really want social interaction because you barge into my room very often.
Yes.
But you don't like barge in, you waddle like a penguin and you stand outside my door.
These were content creators who frequently collaborated on vlogs, challenges, and gaming streams, and Sykkuno was one of them until he decided to move out of the content house and take a chance on himself. Most of his streams centered on whatever game was popular that year, with Among Us eventually becoming the defining one. He rarely used cuss words, avoided discussing anything explicit on camera, and leaned heavily into a gentle, self-effacing tone. For years, close associates described him as the quiet, low-drama one of the entire friend group. His viewership jumped from a few hundred to over 50,000 in under a single year. At this point, it was pretty clear who Sykkuno's content resonated with most. A large portion of his audience consisted of people from middle school through early college, and over time, that audience grew into a tightly knit online fandom. One associate later put it bluntly, describing exactly what happened to anyone who questioned that persona publicly.
But to be fair, in the past where any one of us would push back against that persona publicly, his fans would get really upset at us, like quote unquote bullying him. And I lost count amount of times I had to yell at his fans or be yelled at by his fans because I was treating him like an adult.
At conventions, he'd reportedly get swarmed by fans on short walks between panels, annoying his friends visibly. The love was visible, and it worked because he never once broke character. By 2022, the numbers were enormous, and Sykkuno's persona had become a full career asset. By this point in his career, he signed an exclusive streaming deal reportedly worth around $5 million. Mainstream appearances featuring Jimmy Fallon and other top streamers and celebrities followed shortly after.
Hey guys, welcome to my Twitch channel. This is my first Twitch stream, so thank you for watching. There's gonna be probably a lot of mistakes, but it's gonna be fun either way. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in and playing with us and streaming with us. We're gonna play a few rounds of Among Us.
His schedule through 2022 and 2023 stayed packed with collaborations spanning gaming, mainstream media, and even politics. He joined a Discord call livestream with popular United States Senator Bernie Sanders in 2024, appearing alongside other creators such as Pokimane, Mark Cuban, and Valkyrie. It was this appearance that pushed him further into mainstream recognition, well beyond his original streaming audience entirely. It also reinforced the exact same wholesome image that would collapse 2 years later. By May 2024, Sykkuno returned to Twitch once the exclusivity period that was attached to the $5 million deal ended. Through all that growth, however, he was reportedly living a secret double life, and once the truth had surfaced, many assumed Sykkuno's career was over. They were wrong. They were wrong. Sykkuno stayed quiet for almost 2 full months after the joint statement went public. Then, on June 3rd, 2026, he came back.
All right, well, as most of you guys know, I've been gone for a bit, and while I've been gone, I was working on myself and repairing the damage I've done to my girlfriend and our relationship. And what I did to her was horrible, and for a lot of people, they could never forgive that. I regret doing it so much, and in the time I've been gone, I've been working every single day to try and make things better.
To sum it up, he knew that nothing could make up for what he did, and he regretted it. The past months had been just him working on himself and trying to be better. He addressed the scandal directly near the start of the stream without going into specific details. He avoided naming Mao, Elfalea, or any other accuser by name. Throughout the stream, he kept his chat in subscriber-only mode, an obvious precaution against possible trolling that night. Viewer counts for the return stream reportedly landed well above his recent average, though nowhere near his 2020 peak. It's obvious that curiosity, more than pure loyalty alone, likely explained a good chunk of that initial spike. His peers weighed in almost immediately. Pokimane, the most followed female streamer on Twitch, posted a reaction a week or so after his return, and it was clear she wasn't having it. She compared the length of his hiatus to how long it takes most people to get over far smaller relationship situations.
I saw Sykkuno's back after a month and a half. I've spent longer getting over situationships, I'm not joking.
Reactions from fans were split in two over his return. On one hand, some longtime fans said they'd never fully move past the scandal. Anyone who supports him after everything, by the way, you're supporting abuse, and I don't really want anything to do with you. Others, on the contrary, felt that the 2-month break was insufficient, especially given the joint statement's tone and the apparent effort behind it. As long as they reflect and improve, I'm all for it. Despite the obvious support, it seemed the scandal had altered how viewers saw him. His form of content had already been aging out, and the revelation behind his personality was the icing on the cake. In the end, Sykkuno's story showed that even the internet's most trusted personalities can unravel overnight. But as unbelievable as it was, the next creator's story was far worse.